Hello everyone, Antinatalists here and welcome to my channel. In this vegan debate video, I'm going to discuss 3 common anti-vegan arguments and tell you why I believe most vegans are wrong when they try to counteract with these arguments. So it's a slightly innovative take on a few things. The first one is crop deaths. So the argument by many carnists is that vegans cause crop deaths because of the way that plant foods are harvested. So if you've got a field of grain, for example, that will be harvested by a combine harvester, and in the process of harvesting that, a lot of field mice and rodents and other small animals will get trapped in the harvester and get killed. So the argument by carnists is that because vegans cause crop deaths, we should not worry about others who are eating animals directly, such as cows, pigs, sheep, and so on. Now, in relative terms, vegans still cause a lot less harm and suffering than carnists by having only plant foods. This much is true. But it is also fair to say that antinatalists, because they do not breed, cause even less harm than vegans who are not antinatalists do. And the reason for that is, if you do not breed another human, that human will not cause crop deaths to happen. So for that reason, being vegan plus being antinatalist really is the way to go. If we are only vegan, we are still causing suffering to animals, even though that suffering is relatively small compared to that of carnists. So let's look at the relative scale of things. The second argument I want to bring up is that of plant sentience. Now, as someone who knows a little bit about biology, I believe that plant sentience does exist. I know that, for example, there are communities of trees that cooperate with each other and in order to avoid being eaten up by animals and so on. They are receptive to the direction of the wind, and they are receptive to the way that their pollen is blown about by the wind and that sort of thing. So it's very complicated, but basically plant sentience really is a thing. But this does not discount the vegan argument. By eating plants directly, we are causing less harm to plants because we're eating fewer plants rather than having a middleman, which is the animals. We are not feeding the plants to animals and then consuming the animals as well and causing harm to the animals as well. So plant sentience is definitely an argument, but not in the way that most vegans argue it. Plant sentience is probably something that we have to be concerned about. As we refine our diet more and more, we will be concerned with how much plants are sentient and therefore minimize the suffering that plants experience. But that's something that on a day-to-day basis, most humans probably don't need to be concerned about. Just having a plant diet in itself is harm minimization enough for most people. So the third argument which I'm going to bring up is that of having a cat versus having a dog as a companion animal. A lot of vegans are still classified in general terms as being vegans, even though their companion animal as a cat has a carnivorous diet. Now, as far as I know in the research on cat diets, cats are obligate carnivores, but some vegans still feed their cats vegan diets. So that is, they have vegan diets supplemented by taurine, which is an essential nutrient for cats. Now, there are some people who argue that cats must have a carnivorous diet, and to deprive them of that is unfair to the cat and unnatural to the cat. So I don't know the actual truth on that. So my own point of view is that having a dog, which definitely can be vegan, is better than having a cat as a companion animal for vegans. That's my argument in favor of dogs. And I know that this frustrates a lot of vegans who, insist that there is no hierarchy of veganism and that we should not be too fussed about the details. But for someone like me, who's a perfectionist and who believes that knowing the details is important, and that a hierarchy of vegans is also important, and this aspiration to perfectionism is also important, I believe that having a vegan dog is preferential than having a vegan cat. So they're my three arguments for today, and why I believe that vegans are often wrong when they argue these things. And I hope I've let you into my frame of thinking and given you some value in this video. Okay, folks, that's all from me today. Bye for now.